Hello, hello, codependency free. It is good to see you all this evening. And I'm just excited. I just wanted to start off and just thank everybody who was supporting the codependency coaching program, and those of you all who have inquired and trying to get into the program. I just want to thank you. It's just amazing because we will do this every now and then, and it's important because there are a number of people until you actually make that call, then we are not necessarily taking action. So it's almost like every now and then you got to do a little bit of an altar call to call individuals who are ready to take action. And I'll be honest, I don't really like doing it because I'm not a salesy type person, things like that. But I do know that the work that I am doing, the work that we're doing in codependency free is a work that's needed. And we could see that from the results. So all of you all who I've talked to, who have responded, some of you we're still getting connected with. I just want to thank you all for reaching out, and we're gonna hear about some of these effects, some of these changes, and we're gonna see and hear also, God willing, in the future, some of the things that once we get rolling the way we're trying to get rolling, how where your money is going to go to, because we have some big visions as far as what I have in mind. And if you listen to the first video, I explain a little bit about the passion of this project. This project is separate from my practice, and this is through my nonprofit. And so this is a whole ministry type of situation, which I'm not going to go into a whole lot right now. But you can listen and find out more about that in the initial video. But I want to just thank you all. And so we want to go on and get started tonight because we have an important topic to talk about. Because I'm kind of going in sequence, right? And we talked a little bit about on the last time I presented about some things where it's how important it is for us to start getting to the point where we're asserting ourselves, and some of the reasons why we don't assert ourselves. Tonight, we're going to talk about the consequences of not speaking up. Some of you already know the consequences that you have experienced for not speaking up. And we've talked about, and some of you have commented on the reason why many times we don't speak up is because of fear of what's, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But it's so important. And so I want to start off tonight by talking about why I fear speaking up. So I just want you to take a moment right now, because if you're in this codependency free group, we've already kind of made sure that everybody that's in here has codependency concerns, right? And so we know we're all in the same pocket of things, right? But and so if we're here, then we know that often we are having problems, with um, we're having issues with being able to speak up for ourselves. And many times that ends up hurting us and harming us. And we end up locked up in situations longer than what we need to be, getting many times deeper and deeper. Some of you all can think about situations that you have been locked in that you should have never been in, but because the more time you spend in it, the more times you didn't speak up, it just dug a deeper hole that was deeper and deeper. And I can't tell you, so many of you, and I know that you have experienced this, to where you have been stuck in bad relationships on average 3 to 5 years or more. I know many of us have experienced that, and some of you are looking for answers for that change. And so I want to talk about how you can do that, some of the things that you can do to do this on your own, or some perspectives that are going to be needed in order to make that change, right? And so why I fear speaking up, because of that fear, and we're going to talk about this a lot. We're going to beat this in the ground. We have a fear about what is on the other side. Okay, what is on the other side? On the other side, think about that fear that you have right now. Have that fear because deep down inside, and some of us don't really even like to talk about that fear. The reality that I feel that do speak up, be abandoned. If I do speak up, I'm not going to be heard. If I do speak up, it's going to be separation and rejection on the other side. And so I rather sit here in a situation that not very much authentic because of fear that, hey, this is, in a sense, we're saying this is the best that I can do. Now, some of y'all are married, and we're not saying, and I repeat this all the time, we're not saying to leave your partner, but what I'm saying is that you don't have to live in the misery that you're in. Like, if you're going to be miserable, let's be miserable not because of actions that we're making. At least let it be the actions that I'm having to live with of from you. Okay, not things that I'm doing to myself, going outside of myself, breaking myself down. I've been trying to prove stuff to you for the last 15, 20 years, some of you all. For what? And I haven't seemed to make any climb on this, right? And so we have that fear of and I was just talking to somebody, and they were saying that we went through some steps, and they did face that fear. And so a lot of times what I'm advising is that we don't have to take when we talk about speaking up, it doesn't have to be the relationship ending, the relationship breaking situation that you step up on. Sometimes we're stepping up on small things. Okay, and we're gonna talk about why we're stepping up on these, in the incremental, because we want you to kind of get in the activity of feeling what it's like to speak up. Okay, this doesn't have to be situations to where if you speak up, it could be a deal breaker. It doesn't have to be that, but we got to speak up. And let me go on and get into the script here, and so that we can talk a little bit more about that. But the person said, they said, what happened, what I feared did happen, and I recognize that, you know what, the person really does not care. Okay, and so sometimes, yeah, when we speak up, it awakens a reality, but I don't want to jump into that because I got notes to get to that. So when we don't speak up, it allows for us to live this when we're not speaking up, y'all, what is it doing? It's allowing for us to live in a state of denial. And a lot of us are living in denial because I didn't mean to go there, but some of us are living in denial because and then we don't talk about this in coaching, but I'm just going to bring it here because that's more like psychotherapy. But I'm going to talk about it here. A lot of times we're living in denial because we're used to that, because we're used to, maybe I had a sexual abuse situation or something like that, and nobody else seemed to act like anything happened when I talked about it, whatever. So I have learned that when things harm me, that I push it somewhere in my unconscious as if it does not exist, even though all the evidence speaks that it's hurting and harming me. And so when we're living in denial, over time, we have to understand that our bodies cannot tolerate this way of dealing with things. It just can't take it. I can't tell you how many, when I'm in practice, in psychotherapy practice, you know, as well as with the coaching, but I can't tell you about how many people I have more history on my psychotherapy. How many people who have autoimmunes that's connected to this stuff, not even by my diagnosis, but by even many times what their physicians are saying. But I see it. Okay, because what happens is when we're living in a state of denial, um and when we're pushing things up, sweeping it up under the table as if it didn't happen, we're wondering why we have so many mental health concerns. We're wondering why we have depression. We're wondering why we have anxiety. We're wondering why some of y'all have ADHD. ADHD is off the chain, it's off the charts. We're wondering why we have that, right? We're wondering why we can't sleep at night. See, sleep is a diagnosis that's a DSM diagnosis. In other words, it's a mental health diagnosis. A lot of people don't know that. And many of us are not being able to get sleep because there are concerns going on relative to codependency, relative to me sweeping things up under the table, that, and so my body is not being very tolerant in our body. So I'm isolating, I'm often angry, I'm often lonely, tolerating things, and it's happening to me, and I'm existing and pretending as if it's not so. Okay. And so I just want to say, just for the record, that your body hates your denial. It can't stand it. And that's why it's talking to you in ways that now you can see. It's talking to you in ways that I'm angry. It's talking to you in ways that I'm fatigued. I'm ready to give up. It's talking to you in ways that I'm anxious. I can't concentrate. I can't remember going from one room to the next. I don't even know why I'm over in this next room. Okay. And so this is what a lot of us are experiencing, and it's okay. But I'm just here to let you know the what about what's going on. The what, the what and the why this is happening. Okay, all right, okay, and so allowing your voice to be heard changes things in a way that your body will enjoy. Some of you haven't had peace. From when the last time that you have experienced peace? Well, you're looking over to the next room, and that person probably been with you for a long time, and so there hadn't been no peace. Some of our peace is because of us, though, because we won't hear ourselves, and this is the process when we start speaking and hearing our own voice. Let me not jump ahead. Let me not jump ahead. Okay, so these are some things we got to allow our voice to be heard. I better hurry up. Better hurry up. We got to allow our voice to be heard. Why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because you have been silenced. Yeah. If you're in this group, it's a significantly high chance that you have at some point in your life been silenced. Okay. Okay. You've been silenced. And it's not always an overt action like someone just shut me up, but many times it's a result of things that intuitively I just developed a mindset of believing it's best just not to speak up. Okay. So for many of us, not speaking up, not being able to say no, it's not our first trip to the rodeo. I'll tell you how and why. Because how long has it been in your life where you just weren't able to say no? For most of us, it's not because of that last relationship that I just have difficulty saying no. I have had difficulty saying no for a long, long time. So allowing your voice to be heard, you have been silenced, and it's showing up now, and it's like, let me see what I'm saying here. Yeah, like I said, okay, so we talked about how this is not your first time. I'm gonna move on. All right. Hearing your own voice often works as like a grounding mechanism. Hearing your own voice. Many of you have pushed your voice, you push yourself, I always say, into the closet. So the real you is somewhere in a closet, scared, afraid to come out to the world, and you yourself don't even listen to her. She's somewhere scared because she's had an experience to where she has run off into the closet. Okay, she's scared. She's scared, and so the thing is that sometimes we're thinking speaking up. I'm speaking up to try to get that other person to understand where I'm coming from. Speaking up is not for that. See, mostly what you're gonna learn in working with me and my team, or hearing me and my team here live, is that this thing is not so much about the other person. Okay? This is about you. Because that's the problem. Everything has always been about the other person or other people, but the common denominator is you. And so once you're able to change and fix with it, then there's going to be an attraction for other people, other situations. And if you're in a situation that you kind of, locked into, what's going to happen is there's going to be a thought that, hey, there's a new sheriff in town. Not that you're taking over the spot, but just meaning that there's new law. There's new rules. I'm not doing that stuff no more. I'm doing what God leads me to do, not what I think that you want. Okay. I'm not going to be feeling this pressure and anxiety that if I don't please you in the back of my mind, something is going to happen bad. Okay. So hearing your own voice, it grounds you, and it's not for the other person to hear, because real talk, the majority of the time, if you are with a narcissist, they're not going to be hearing you anyway. If you're surrounded by narcissists, sometimes we're plagued with narcissists and narcissistic people with narcissistic traits throughout our families, and that's why it's impacted our identity, because everybody around has always interacted with us as if we were second class. And so then we begin to believe and then choose relationships based on that belief. We work with changing that core belief system. Okay. Once that core belief system has been changed, you start thinking different, you start attracting different, right? So hearing your voice is part of that process. You have to hear you, have to hear you, because sometimes hearing you, you're going to sound a little strange because, you hadn't talked for a while. So somebody might be screaming, somebody might be talking so soft and silent, but hearing you is going to put you in a place to where you start understanding and knowing what is good for you. And so now we can answer the question, who am I? What do I want? What do I like? What do I dislike? Sorry, I mean to scare y'all. That's what you're telling somebody no, because you're listening to her. See, you violating her right now. She's in the closet, you don't listen to her, and then you blame yourself for bad things happening, but you blaming yourself for bad things happening because you listen to everybody else but her, which is you. And it's sort of a splitting off. Not saying you got some dissociative identity disorder or anything like that, but it's kind of a splitting off. And that's why it's so much confusion, because it's this side of you, and then there's another side of you that's in the closet that don't nobody listen to, including yourself. So hearing your voice brings sound and starts to get you grounded with what it is that you desire to have, what it is that you like, what it is that you don't like, what it is that's too much. So that's what it's all about. Hearing your voice separates you from being saturated in the needs of others. Man, I'm going to leave with that. I'm going to leave with that. All right. All right. We're going to be back next week. We're going to be back next week with some more stuff. Now, for any of you all who are interested in getting more of this and you want to learn more about what we've got, just drop a DM to me and we can tell you more about what we've got in our coaching program and things of that nature. But we're going to sign off for tonight. Y'all have a blessed evening. All right. Take care.